All right, welcome back to Living Fit's 2 Minute Tuesdays. Hope everyone's had a great start to the week and is getting stuck into their home training programs, considering all gyms are closed, most boot camps are done and dusted, and all we have left is one-on-one personal training. All right, so question of the week, home programs and ins and outs and do's and don'ts. So let's put 2 minutes on the clock and see what we can do. All right, so when it comes to home programs, one of the most important things, especially when if you're stuck at home, if you're in self-isolation, etc., probably the most important thing is to allot time and keep that time standardized, make it a routine. That's the most important thing, because at the end of the day, when we are confined to quarters, or we are self-isolating, or we are quarantined, however you want to look at it, routine becomes essential. Because otherwise which I'm sure you've probably seen on the news, people are praising to the high roof in terms of being able to still do exercise at home and how important it is just for their sanity. Now, one of the main things is set aside time to actually get your home program done. It doesn't matter what you do, just set time aside for it. If you set time aside for it, you create a habit. Then every day you'll see 10 o'clock on the wall, bang, time to exercise. Treat it like a work schedule. All right, so if you've got a meeting at 10 o'clock, you don't just procrastinate and put that meeting off. You go to the meeting, same thing with your exercise. All right, now, the other thing that most people don't factor in, now that we're doing home programs and people are in self-isolation, etc., is we have essentially more time on our hands to do things that what we probably normally wouldn't have had time to do, like learn a new skill. Now, one of the most important skills that you can learn is cooking. Now, especially for your health and body composition goals, I understand there are people that are busy and people have used meal services to get around being busy and not being able to cook. But now that you've got this free time on your hands, well, we'll say not free time, but more time on our hands to add to the itinerary of allotting time, you've got the exercise allotted, you should allot time to making meals. Now, whether that's making meals in bulk or making meals for the day, etc., you have the time now to implement new skills, to implement new changes to help you get better results towards your body composition goals. Yes, everyone is stressed, anxious about the economy, financial situation, but you have to eat anyway. So this is a good time for most people to essentially at least get their exercise, even though they're not training at the gym like they used to, or doing their boot camps like they used to, or group exercise. But you're training at home. You've allotted time for that. Now it's time to allot for the next stage, which is getting your nutrition on tour. Now, if you've got your nutrition dialed in, now it's time to fine tune. You've got some time to fine tune. This is where we create habits when we've got time to. Now, the important thing is when life returns to normal, make sure that the changes that we've been making, the skills we've been learning, we can implement into our going back to normal life, shall we say. So being able to, there's no point making huge drastic changes to your itinerary like we've talked about in the past. People will think, oh, the bigger the changes, the better the result. It's true, but it's not true if it's not sustainable. So make sure, if you're learning how to cook new meals, make sure that they're the sort of meals that you're going to be able to implement when life returns to normal, when work schedules and school schedules and life just goes back to normal. All right, so what I'm trying to say here is make sure that the new skill that you implement is transferable, sustainable, maintainable for when you don't have so much time. That's not to say you shouldn't use this time to learn new skills that you might not use later on. By all means, entertain yourself. Like at the end, like for most people, to offset aging, learning new skills is vital in keeping the brain as young as possible. So we've got our program dialed in, all right? And we're doing it at a time. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Whatever exercise you're doing, there are hundreds of YouTube videos. There's a massive surge of YouTube videos, more than there normally is, just on home programs because everyone's stuck at home. All right, there's no surprise right there. It doesn't matter what you do as long as you do something. Allot a time, so a set time that you're going to do that every day or every other day, depending on your own schedule. All right. Learn a new skill. That is health and fitness related. Main one being cooking, meal prep, or as simple as setting aside and finally doing a shopping list that doesn't have stuff on it that you don't really need. Nice short one this week, a lot time, stick to it. I hope this has helped. I hope you got a lot out of it. And we'll see you next week for 2 Minute Tuesdays. Thank you.